What is up? Welcome back to another video. I put up on my Instagram stories, do you want to know what exactly is involved in competing in the WBFF? And it was 100% yes. So today's video is going to be what is involved in my comp prep at just 4 weeks out from the WBFF in the GC Australia. First things first, I am so excited to get back on stage. This has been a long time coming. As I mentioned in my last video, in 2020 the show was cancelled. 2021 I couldn't get to Australia, and now here we are, 2022, 2.5 years since my last New Zealand show and 3 years since my last Australia show, and I could not be more excited to meet everyone backstage, to get lots of amazing photos and to shine up on that stage. So I want to talk to you about my prep and a little bit of history behind my competing journey, because I have done some Q&As about competing. If you're looking to compete in the WBFF, you want to know why I do the WBFF, all you need to do is look at my older videos, search up AMB-ANJULI Mack WBFF, and you'll find my whole comp prep journeys, all my comp prep vlogs. I absolutely love doing a peak week vlog too, so stay tuned for that. But today I kind of just wanted to have an open and honest chat about how my prep is going and why I think this prep is different to any other prep I've done and why it's just feeling different overall. Okay, so let's go back to the start of the year. I started my shred on January 3rd with Better Me Kickstart 5.0. I wanted to do a shred with many of the other women all around the world on the AMB-ANJULI Fit Squad that are also doing shreds. Of course, I'm not just about fat loss. You can work with me for reverse dieting, building muscle, changing shape, getting a better relationship with food and working out. Whatever your goal is, I can definitely help you with that. But I do know at the start of the year, a lot of people do set out with the intention to, lose fat, get stronger, and just feel amazing in their own skin. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump on this and do Better Me Kickstart 5.0 as well. And the plan was to do a 90-day shred and then reverse into my wedding in May. It just so happens that my 90-day shred actually ends right before I fly out to Australia to compete. So of course, I'll do my 90-day shred and then I'll go into peak week and I will start reversing after my competition in the Gold Coast. So in 60 days, I am down 5 kilos. But the thing with this is, could I have lost more than 5 kilos in that time? Yes. But the difference in this is I actually wanted to take a very, controlled approach to it, where my calories slowly tapered down. I have been consistent every single day for over 60 days during the shred phase with my steps, my water, my sleep, my nutrition. I've also been reading every day. I've been posing every day. And these habits are 100% consistent. There's no extra bites, licks, or tastes of anything when it comes to being outside of my macros. Everything is tracked, everything is accounted for. So that is the biggest thing most people struggle with when it comes to achieving their goals. They're just not consistent with the things that matter. The things that matter are everything I encourage the AMB-ANJULI Fit Squad to do. Nutrition, your training, your sleep, your steps, your water intake. These things all matter. It has been a crazy few months with moving into our brand new house, our first ever house. I had a loss in the family. I had a lot of things to overcome, but I've still shown up for myself because competing is something I want to do for me. It is about becoming the best version of me, and in order for me to do that, I actually have to show up for myself each and every day. So now fast forwarding, over 8 weeks down, I've got 4 weeks left until comp. I actually don't like to count down. I only know that it's 4 weeks because I saw someone post yesterday that it was 31 days out. Otherwise, I don't count down. All I do is focus on the day ahead and what I have to do on that day to get me closer to my goal of getting on stage. And that means ticking off my boxes. But now here we are at 4 weeks out. What's included? So usually at about 4 weeks out, honestly, I'd be doing cardio like 5 to 6 times a week. I'd be doing Stairmaster, I'd be doing either bike sprints or running sprints. I'd be doing 6 times a week of weight training, and I have a very hectic training schedule alongside adding in steps. It's been hectic in the past especially 2019 where I had 2 competition preps in a year. I was probably the grumpiest I've ever been, and I am so proud of the condition I got into. I absolutely loved my shape. We really smashed the conditioning. This year, now after having 2.5 years off since then and not going into any kind of crazy deficits, my body is loving it. So I started at 2,300 for months. I was maintaining there. I was focusing on getting strong, and my shred only dropped down to 2,100 at the start of January. And then last week I was around the 1,850 calorie mark. It's only yesterday, Wednesday of this week, that my calories actually dropped to 1,700, and that is still a lot of calories, like relatively, especially compared to where I used to be. And the reason why I think this is not only have I been training for like 10 years and I've built more muscle than ever, but I actually took time to embrace being uncomfortable. I put on some body fat. I spent months, or even a couple of years, to be honest, sitting higher than where I would usually like to sit. I really focused on building muscle, enjoying the extra calories, and just chilling out a little bit when it comes to shredding. Like, I couldn't travel anywhere. I didn't have any photo shoots. Heck, we couldn't even go to the gym for a lot of last year. So I wasn't going to try and diet down and look good in a bikini to sit around in like tights and a sports bra at home around the apartment. It just didn't make sense to me because I didn't have any kind of extra drive to shred down for, say, a competition or summer or whatever your goal is. I personally think that any body is a bikini body. I'll wear a bikini year round. If I'm going anywhere, it doesn't bother me at all. But when it comes to competing, you need to take it to another level. So in these last 4 weeks, we have introduced some HIIT cardio because we only have a home gym and we don't have a Stairmaster, and I've actually been having some niggles with my knees. My physio has advised that I'm not to do any running, not to do any sprints. So I'm doing bike sprints instead of running sprints. I did my first lot this morning. Boy, oh boy, it was 10 minutes of bike sprints and then a 20-minute kind of like hilly ride on the highest gear on my bike outside. It was actually really like nice to be outside. It was a little bit cold, but you know what, I got it done. So that was 30 minutes on top of my weight training this morning, as well as 8,000 steps before about 8:30 this morning. The days actually fill up when it comes to comp prep. What's involved in the day-to-day? I wake up at 4:30. I'll have some pre-workout, I'll do my weight training, I'll do some steps after that, I'll do posing, and then if I've got to do bike sprints, which I'm currently going to be doing starting from now 3 times a week, then on my upper body days, I'll do my bike sprints, and then throughout the day, I've also got to make sure I hit 14,000 steps. It does take up a lot of time, and it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. So I'll get a message from someone that is brand new to going to the gym, and they're like, hey, look, do you think I'll be ready to do a competition at the end of this year? So in a few months' time. And it's like, well, yeah, people do definitely step on stage in their first year of training, but it depends what your goal is for competing. If your goal is to step on stage and just do it for fun, like my first ever competition, by all means, go for it. Have the time of your life. Meet friends from, all around the world. It is such an incredible experience. You can definitely do that. You've seen women I've helped go on to compete after working with me for a year. Sarah, who's going to be backstage with me in the WBFF Australia, she worked with me for 2.5 years, and then I passed her on to Ali to go for comp prep. She is looking absolutely insane, but she came to me in her first starting point, which meant that we were able to maximize the newbie gains, and we were totally able to transform her shape in those first 2 years. To be honest, in the first 90 days of working with me, she lost about 7 to 8 kilos and got shredded before we went into a reverse diet and building. If your goal is to compete and just do it for fun, by all means go for it. If your goal is to compete and actually have a physique that is competitive, I do suggest 1, starting with a coach as soon as possible, and 2, building a good foundation. A foundation in terms of muscle mass, but also a foundation in terms of healthy relationship with yourself, with exercise, and with training. Tracking macros and understanding how many calories you're eating is going to give you the best flexible approach to a competition prep. My first ever prep was super clean. I pretty much just ate fish for the last 2 weeks and vegetables and maybe oats or whatever, and I ended up rebounding really badly after comp. Now, another thing to note after comp, make sure that you have a coach to stay with after competition so you don't do what I did and go absolutely crazy and eat everything and anything in sight for months after and gain the weight back and more. It happens. We learn from it, we move on. In terms of my comp, why do I think it's different this time? Well, of course, I haven't been in a deficit for a very long time. I don't remember the last time, to be honest, I ate under 1,600 calories. I spent time building more muscle. I have been training for 10 years now. Even if the first 3 years of my training were without a coach and I wasted a lot of time not knowing what I was doing with nutrition, I still would have built a lot of muscle because I was consistently weight training and getting super strong. But the best thing I ever did on my fitness journey was getting a coach to help take all the guesswork out of it. And the second best thing I did was to become a coach and do what I do with Fit with AMB-ANJULI, sharing knowledge and helping other women achieve their goals and feel more confident in their own skin. And the third was to continue to learn. I'm always looking to learn. I'm taking courses, I'm reading peer-reviewed studies. I'm always making sure that my knowledge is up there, not only for myself, but for the squad as well. If your goal is to take things to the next level, whether you want to compete, whether you want to just feel amazing in anything you put on, whether you have a special wedding day coming up like myself and many other women on the squad, it does come down to building up that consistency and making this a lifestyle. Don't see anything as okay, I'm just going to do this for 90 days and then I'm going to go back to what I was doing before. Because if you go back to what you've always done, you're going to get the results that you've always had. So remember, if you want to achieve your goals, start holding yourself accountable. Get a proper plan in place. Build those habits up around steps, nutrition, training, sleep, stress management. All the things that I've always talked about are so relevant to the prep that I do right now, to the women on the squad all around the world, and to you looking to achieve your goals. My absolute goal for this competition is to make sure that when I step on that stage, I know I've given it everything that I've got to be there. And that's what I'm doing every single day. And you have only seen what I've shared on my YouTube channel, right? Or on my Instagram. But I have wanted this ever since I got off stage in 2019. I have videos of myself practicing in my heels throughout last year. Video diary to myself. I cannot wait to get on stage next year. I have 12 months to bring my best. Tracking my macros, taking my photos, my check-in photos throughout the year. I've been doing my training this whole time. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that when I step on that stage, it is AMB-ANJULI 5.0. And so far, I can safely say that I am feeling the best I've ever felt on a prep. I am the strongest I've been. I'm doing the least amount of cardio I've ever done, and I'm eating the most amount of calories I've had this close to a show. You know what? It does take time to get to this point. I'm sure the next 4 weeks are going to get a lot harder mentally and physically, but I am so ready for it. And I do want to share more of my journey with you, but I just like to focus on what's ahead of me and just ticking the days off and doing the work. And I know that when you nail the habits, the results speak for themselves. I'm gonna look good come show day. I just know it's a matter of time and just doing what needs to be done. And it's the same thing with you. If you're on the AMB-ANJULI Fit Squad, you don't need to worry about, how long it's gonna take. You just need to know that if you follow what I give you, you do the habits that I advise, you check in with me fortnightly, and you are open to learning more about nutrition in terms of tracking your macros and being flexible with your dieting, you will get the results. The results will always come when you are consistent. That is my chit chat. I just wanted to share how I'm going, have a big talk with all of you. I hope you are slaying your goals this year. If you are not and you need that help, make sure you head along to fitwithanjuli.com, sign up today. I'll send you an email about your goals and we can get started working together today.